but unfortunately, I fried my amplifier. Unfortunately. So, as soon as I find me another one, I will get back on here. But what I was going to is that go in here, which goes in my phone, and I have an app on my phone that has a tone generator, and I can program whatever tone I want. I was just now putting 440 hertz through here, and increasing the volume until I heard the A note manifest through the motor, and I could feel it, and it's vibrating it back and forth like this, like it should be, in between the two poles. And then as soon as I adjusted the phase, it rotated really quick and through the relay, the overload. Because what I should have done is I didn't notice, but right here, and then it would have performed just fine. However, I did not do that. And after a couple of attempts to run this thing, I fried it. I smelt it. So it just goes into overload mode. And then so that's my input. So that'd be the low voltage side. That'd be the low voltage signals. You could also right here, running magnets. You can put on the AM side, one side to ground. And then switch the tuner to AM, and that'll pick it up. Now, your output. I'm using, check this out. See what I'm doing here. So, the outer phase, the red wire, I'm going into the positive side of the right, and then on the outer side, I'm going into the positive side of the left bank. See that? Left bank. And it runs, it sends the frequency to the motor perfectly. It makes that motor sing. That motor, I wish I hadn't fried it, I'd show you. That motor will sing a tune with whatever frequency I put into it. And when I fried it is whenever I went for the gusto. I was going for rotation, and I put 8 hertz into it because it's an 8-pole motor. And I went to split the phase. My voltage was too high, and it shorted out the system. Yeah, I should have turned my volume all the way down, but it was up. And anyways, so I blew it. The last one I had a really good overload protection, and it would trip that breaker every time, but yet it would come right back on and keep working, and I was able to find my frequency. Plus, this thing's been out open like this for like the past, oh, I don't know, 6 months, getting rained on in the back of my truck. But it worked for a second. I'm surprised it did that. I'll tear it apart for all the parts, and I'll give you another one. But I want to show how you can get rotation, because this is basically what you got on your wheel. It's a bunch of coils with magnets on the drum. See those magnets? That's basically what you got going on. Except my windings, I split them into 3 phases, into a 3-phase setup. You can do the same with your setup and run it the same way. And as soon as I get this thing going again, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. And in fact, I've got a video, proof of running a motor on sound. instead of using one of these little motors, I'm using a big old 12-inch washing machine motor. So yeah, the smart drives. So yeah, check it out. Anyways, this is my new little lab that I got going on here. These are the motors that I'm attempting to run on sound. This guy right here is the one I want to use because it's a 3-pole motor, so it would require a simple frequency to drive this all the way up to its maximum potential. This pole is an 8-pole. I mean, this motor is an 8-pole motor, and it requires a complicated frequency to drive this thing like a motor. Now I can rotate it at one constant speed and improve the concept, but I can't run this thing like a motor with this setup. I would need an audio program where I can program it with off of the same signal that it's reading when rotating. So, and I'll be getting one of those real soon, but they're expensive. They're like $1,000. So it's coming. Until then, I'm going to work on getting this guy running so that I can hook it up to one of these guys. I'm going to take this motor right here, and then the drum will fit on, connect to the shaft will go through there, and then that'll turn. That'd be the smallest direct drive motor that you could possibly use. I'm going to attempt this one first, plus I can run it on an amplifier like this. Once I determine whether I can use it or not. If I can't, I'm going to upgrade to this guy. Stick this guy on there. What do you think about that? Bam. That's plenty of leverage on the shaft. But like I said, I need my special driver for this, because this is I think it's a 9-pole. I can't remember. Anyways, so that's what I'm working on. Different stuff like that. This is a nice little motor right here. So when you run these motors on sound, you're running them on volts, not amps. So the strength of your motor is going to be determined by your magnets, the strength of your magnets. Now, obviously, these are weak, ceramic. You can achieve extreme power with neodymium magnets and extreme efficiency. So that's what I'm working on.